I title some of these streams Mega. Mega Stream. Started with Move Out Mega Stream because I was uh, thinking that all the streams went together and that I would, every time I was doing a little bit more of my work towards moving out. And that's true. But I titled this one Humanist Mega because it's mega because it connects to the one before and it's long. But I'm not, I mean, yeah, I'm moving out, but my reason for this stream being mega is humanist. As I just explained when I ended the previous one, I'm 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 streaming right now as a distraction from pain. And Flowertown, Orland, Glenside, Windmore, Jenkintown, Elkins Park, Plymouth Meeting, Norristown, Hatboro, Horsham, Philadelphia. These are all suburbs north of Philadelphia. King of Prussia, Langhorne, Trenton, Doylestown. It's interesting. So my options for this home last sold in 1994? Well, I guess you're not there anymore, Mark. Or your parents aren't there anymore. And based on your posts, Mark, I think you've made a lot of money. So that house looks pretty, whatever. Oh, yeah, pretty modest. Yeah, what I'm doing now is related to this hashtag scribes and makers November 5th question. Tell us about a podcast you enjoy. At the height of my audio podcast listening, Paul Holdengraber's The Quarantine Tapes and On Being with Krista Tippett helped me survive 2020 to 2022. Nowadays, I regularly tune into the daily video stream podcast, The Majority Report, that offers me political solidarity, but I'm currently listening to the Quarantine Tapes episode linked here, and I realize that I'm missing that level of nourishment. So I'm talking because if I stop talking, then I've got to turn on nonstop listening, and it's really hard to find anything humanist to listen to that I can tolerate. I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love. I'll share some drawings I made for fun. Just abstract scribbles. Because I've tried to move away from the expense of painting and get the similar psychological benefit to just scribbling. Going back to joys of childhood. So that one doesn't have anything on it. Let's remedy that. Remedy this, Batman. I feel love. I could listen to music. We've talked about this before. Chat. um, it's unfortunate, but currently music doesn't feel sufficient to keep me distracted from pain. I seem to have packed away, I don't know where it is right now, like good paper. So I've got this thin, I mean, this is thick like construction paper, but it may not hold up to the markers, but I want to see anyway. We're going over there. I found these markers that came with a Mooney doll. I was part of a joint exhibition, and I didn't use markers because I'm a painter. So I painted my doll. Now that I might be able to locate. No, I've put it somewhere too. All this quote unquote helpful packing up that I've done. It's all so overwhelming. Oh, I am overwhelmed. So, in that, from that perspective, I'm doing pretty well. Whelmed. Doing pretty whelmed. Is there a relationship between the word overwhelm and well? I like it when I was just like interact. I like it when I interact with Planty, and Planty is springy, supple, whatever. It just feels so healthy and good. I feel love. So music is not sufficient distraction for me to combat pain. Now, it could be like if I were listening to music while doing this, that would be a good combination, but that's illegal in, contemporary dehumanist times. So these are designed to go on a rubbery doll. So I don't know if there's anything special about that. I feel love. I feel love. I'm your baby tonight. They don't have an odor. I just always like to check. I used to sometimes share videos like as art tips. Okay, I don't know why you wouldn't know this one, but I like things to go to the edge, and the best way to do that is to go over the edge and have something beneath it collecting your stray marks. And then because of the way that I operate, that also becomes art. When it comes to keeping things, it, it seems um, completely unnecessary to hold on to crayons, and yet also, why not? They don't take up much space and they provide a lot of enjoyment. So I was just looking, it's like, well, if I'm going to keep those, then while I'm still here, I'll use my other crayons because I have hundreds of them. Not keeping the hundreds that I keep in a famous Amos tin. Oh, those are crayons and pastels. Maybe I should keep them. Things to think about. Let's start with pastels. And why am I treating these words as sacred? I'm a visual artist, not a text artist. That's not true. Number one, you're talking right now. You consider everything art. And number two, you want to be a writer. It's confusing. Maybe don't worry about labels so much. I'm not really feeling this. It's supposed to be for, I don't know what, stress relief, self expression. It's not sufficient to counteract the pain. What is? I think more intellect. I don't really know, honestly. This is kind of pleasurable. No reason to stop. Paint is more pleasurable than these sticks. I just, I don't know why, but the substance, the viscosity, paint is awesome. This is so much easier to work with. Difficult to do an illustration of abstract creation because there were times when, I mean, I've sold paintings, and if if I had my top wish, I would make a living from visual art. But when I record this, you can see that there's nothing to it whatsoever. So, how does it have monetary value? And that's the dilemma for society to decide, which is why do we place value, money value on art? Um, for some people, it, well, and it raises the humanist question of who deserves to exist and make a living. I mean, if you are a humanist, then everyone does. And that's not the way we're living currently. And maybe one of the, what's this stupid thing, moral hazard? Maybe one of the hazards is that, like, if everyone's existence were subsidized, if everyone were permitted to thrive, then I suppose some people might be terrified that more and more people would be doing what I'm doing for their quote unquote careers, and fewer people would be, I don't know, putting roofs on buildings and maintaining sewers. And I just, I don't think, I don't believe that society would collapse as a result of respecting every one of us. I just don't see how that is possibly the result. If I had a feeling of respect and connection to my community, there's no doubt in my mind that I would be willing to contribute. I mean, I already contribute free work, but like I'm saying, it's of questionable value. But I mean, the only thing that's keeping me from doing work of more social value is my insecurity in terms of ability to live. I would like be happy to instruct children and adults in art therapy. I back when I had a more functioning body, uh, it's not hard for me to imagine doing manual work, even if it was emptying trash cans or helping to keep sewers clean, if it was temporary, not a lifelong condemnation, not being condemned to a life of this is this is your life. If it were cooperative, shared, and respected, then I mean, there have been many times when I felt better that I thought I would enjoy strolling the streets with some kind of uniform, um, keeping them clean, picking up litter, uh, in exchange for a subsidized life as an artist. There's a lot I would be willing to do in a functioning humanist society. So I think the idea that if we respect people, the necessary unglamorous work won't get done. I think that's not accurate. I think what would not get done is that I think that the most privileged, well off people would no longer be so privileged, would no longer be served. If I had a stable safety net, secure safety net, um, I would not have ever put up with the antisocial bosses that I've had to deal with. But the thing is, their lives could be better too. They would just be different. And these are some of the things that I want to write about when I envision a better world. I went through a moment where I was like, why am I doing this? This is not it. This is not doing it. And then I kept going and it feels good. If I I'm not checking out It probably doesn't look that great on camera. I mean, it doesn't look that great in person either, but what I mean is, it would be nice if it were framed close up, if my technical setup were better. I'm casting a shadow. I started a joke. No, that's not it. Is it? The whole world laughing. The stuff about, like defend your work. Why is this worth anything? That is an impulse of low self-esteem, sort of mandated, socially mandated, societal, enforced low self-esteem. That it is not the accepted norm that your existence is valuable without question. Hidalgo. I was about to say I'd love to sing if I knew like all the words to something really good, and that's why singing along to something is so great because I'm not a professional singer. I don't have a lot of songs memorized. The ones I can think of that I might have, nearly memorized tend to be songs I don't like that were put in my memory forcefully. I don't know. I might throw away this gray pastel. Every time I use it, I'm like annoyed. It looks better. I don't know. I'm the one making the choice. I think I just have to learn to love all colors. In my paintings, I would favor certain color and color combinations, and so oftentimes I would go the other way just to challenge myself. And then people would say things like, so it's necessary for others to compliment my skills, talents, whatever. Because again, you can't just like something that I don't know if you can see me, but I'm going to close my eyes and just like, you can't just say, boom, there's your art. I mean, it raises issues. So people, you know, compliment artists as having all sorts of special abilities. I think to the extent that I have any special ability or, the distinctive, it's a commitment that anything at all produced by my hands is art, is worthy of existence. Because I'm not sure that that's a natural, comment or common attitude. So my skill is that I've trained myself to say, that's good enough, that's good enough, that's good enough. That I reject the bias that what we do needs to prove its worth. What makes it have value is because humans have value. And every moment of existence as a human that's not doing harm is intrinsically valuable, worthy. Or if you want to look at it a different way, there's no need to rank it, it just is. This is my day right now. And I can tell you why this is my day because I have nonstop 24/7 pain dominating my back uh, that causes me to uh, my mouth gets dried out. I don't know if it could very well be the medication, but it can also be the I mean, I'm sure aren't now that I think about it, aren't all I mean, so many medications are I don't know chemistry, but like mixed with salt seems seems like they are. Um, and then maybe that's what starts it maybe, and then the anxiety of being in constant pain. I'm like just constantly moving my mouth around, uh, which if you think about it, may be one reason that this streaming is helpful to me because I am moving my mouth constantly. So I'm less. mindful. When I'm sitting, I mean, the worst is sitting still or trying to sleep and feeling like that my mouth on the inside is just in so much discomfort and that I cannot settle it. Fortunately, I haven't chewed it or eaten it raw, so I'm glad about that. But it's a little raw just from just it just is. But I would say I have not aggravated it, which is good because there are definitely times in the past when I used to do all kinds of nervous things. Things, things, nervous things like I was going to make a really disturbing joke that would be so disturbing it would be distracting. Now you're wondering what. The only hint I'll give you, in case you're just really distracted by me dropping that, is I think it's possible to to characterize the sadism, the cruelty that others do, as their self-care. Like they're not okay, and their self-care choices are also not okay. See, that was so distracting. I have no idea what I'm saying now. Okay, this is what I'm doing, and I can explain why that it has to do with my pain and like all the stuff I've been saying, but I don't need to explain just to exist, to be allowed to exist and do whatever. I think art is self-care. I think that the labels of talent and putting money on it is sort of control it, to not have to deal with what art really is, just a just self-care, a coping strategy. When we appreciate art, we acknowledge that part of it because it touches us. We turn to poetry and music and art for spiritual nourishment. guess. So what would happen if I were on PeerTube or Owncast and I played a copyrighted thing? Like, what is the offense? That I'm trying to make money off of someone else's work? Because I don't want to make money. This, I mean, by ads, or I want to give away this. Oh, so I'm stealing someone else's work and giving it away free? Because clearly, the best way that people want to listen to music is in the background while I talk. It's just this system that we use harms culture. And by culture, I mean what humans do to survive. So, copyright and assigning monetary value to art is self destructive. And by self, I mean human. So it's dehumanizing, anti humanist. So I could, let's see, I could listen to music from a source that the recording doesn't pick up, and then I could sing just to have the experience that I want to have. Or I could play it and see what happens. On Twitch, often what happens is it just mutes it. I say just, I mean, that's annoying as fuck, but it doesn't consider it a strike against you because they're just preemptively, uh, you know, avoiding the problem. But what would happen if it were my own site? And what would happen if I treated it kind of the same as Twitch and like I did it once and then that was the end of it? Or what would happen if it were one of the federated sites? I know they'll have policies against copyright, so I have to. It's just, I mean, how many times do I have to say? It's just so annoying that I'm trying to share my real life and I'm being prevented from interacting with culture. It's, once again, say it with me, dehumanizing on a mass scale. And similar to what I said yesterday or the day before, you'll find tons of people defending the way things are. So if I were writing, my Better World book, how would this issue be dealt with? Well, number one, as I've said, every human being, I mean, there's no one at risk of being denied basic needs. So that changes everything right away. And then number two, you can include any piece of culture. And there would be a, a use for technology that the original owners would, just like as, kind of exists on YouTube and stuff now, would have the ability to locate and identify where their work is being used. And in doing so, the description or, something would pop up as a link to this is this made by this person for the, high quality original, or to support this person, go here. And that's it. And like I say, everyone would be fat and happy because of the elimination of artificial scarcity. So culture would be about what it's really about, which is interaction, growth. So the more times that you're included in someone else's content is good. I mean, if you want it. And then, yeah, there would be, I guess, the ability to share something and have it be designated off limits. This is me only, can only be played on my site, but not some corporate middleman. It's like you're either sharing something highly personal that you do not want taken out of context, so it only is available from your own, or it's out there in the world. Those are the two options that I can think of right now. But none of this, it's licensed for this person at this price. That's not human culture. It's something else. Greed, hoarding, antisocial dehumanization. It's just not what we're about in my better world. I'm getting tired of this. Which is like, what? Talking like that? Yeah. But being limited to these colors. Doohickey? All right, let's That was a lot of emphatic. So let's go back to love. Love, calmness. What can we learn? If I'm writing scenes with political arguments and I'm envisioning a better world, what? And I know from my own life that I need breaks from the negative. How does that? Let's talk about. There were times in my younger days when I felt maybe some wish that there was like a king or queen or something, not to have the power, but to be like a national figure without, specifically without political power, that people could just unequivocally like and rally around. And some people in this country or anywhere will try to go into history and pick out, but here in this country, like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, well, all of those real people are really problematic. And to say so, just to say so, tell the truth about history is alienating and infuriating to some. But I don't. I no longer think that that's even remotely the solution. To have idolized, to idolize figures, to idealize stories. No. What do I think is potentially healthy, beneficial, potential way of dealing with? What about leaving that corner just there? Let's do it. So, what do I think is a healthy way in my fiction for to happen during a break, to require a break and force a break during discussions, debates? One idea might be go kayaking. Basically, what I'm saying is to require a physical break, like a team building bonding exercise. Um, what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to go lie down because this is how sick I am. Just sitting up and doing that coloring is physically draining to me. Oops. Physically draining, but spiritually nourishing. God damn it. Once it was in my hands, it went from 2 to 1 again. Please. I'm going to pretend that, that AI actually was developed to help people. Please reprogram my interface so I do not have to see my number of viewers. Thank you. These are. I like this one. So just, I can't explain it, but just sitting there and coloring has got me worn out, and I'm going to go lie down over here now. And I'm going to keep talking because it distracts me from my mouth discomfort and my pain. And at noon, I'm going to go watch the Majority Report because they'll be happy because of Zoran's victory. And I'm happy because of it too. It's really better with the river, even though the light is better the other way with the natural light. What's more natural than natural light? I think this is the first time I realized that the name of the beer is also a term used in art and architecture. Weird. Weird how things just, like how you can say bullshit without ever actually thinking of bovine feces, things like that. Uh-oh. If now that I've given up the drawing, if I'm going to lie down, I'm giving up. I need. There's an extra layer of distraction I'm giving up. Yikes. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. I don't know. We've already established I can't listen to music. That's not legal. Hmm, here's some things I didn't know how accessible they were. I can look at these and show them to you. And slow down. Use your memory. Where's that other thing that's on your mind? Well, I can look at things in this bin. And there's a magazine there. And there's that book that makes me angry but helps me talk. Here's a watercolor on paper from 1989 that I call I Hate Watercolor. Here's one I like, just eyeballs in the middle of. Can we see? Did I give it some kind of name? What is that? But also 1989. Is that like Tada or T? Ooh, there's a backside. Oh, Angel and Devil. This is unusual stuff for me. 1989, right before I went off to college and became all abstract all the time. They're kind of cartoony and representational. I had no idea that these were around anywhere. This one, but the fact that I signed them and dated them shows a certain amount of self-importance or desire to cleaning my brush. Well, that's inspiring. I mean, current me, is glad that I signed and dated them. Although Thanksgiving '89, although I probably assassination of the artist, so that's supposed to be these just sort of abstract irises. Back to I hate watercolor. Huh. There's a lesson I can offer that, even though it seems uh, I'm going to take a short break. I'll finish that sentence when I get back. So that art that I found, I just shared with you from 1989. Um, what I want to say is that to talk to younger me, it can seem laughably self important to sign and date and save work that's not exceptional, outstanding, praised, valuable, etc., etc. But here I am, so many years later, really happy that I have those. And they were exceptional in the sense that it was not common for me to do that. So, I can say that's why they're not good or whatever. Like, it's not like, oh, I was always drawing and painting, and so I have a lot. Then I'd have a lot of work, and I would see progress, and that's not what that is. What that is an insight into the fact that I wanted the life that I ended up stumbling into. That I wanted to be an artist, that I wanted this life that I've ended up living. And it's a life that's not about artistic skill, that it is about permission to express. So it's a great insight for me to look at that when I was something like 17, for me to look at that and say, I relate to that now. Thank you, former me, for doing that, signing and dating it, and saving it. And so perhaps there might be someone who sees this who feels self conscious about their own dreams. I don't know about that part. That's not my department, but I definitely send a accolade and hug and appreciation back to former me that I know you felt uncomfortable and you doubted the value of it and you questioned that it laughable or shameful to sign and date unprofessional work. Mm, I'm very glad you did. You may not have really fully realized it, but your art journey was not about perfecting skills, unless you count emotional honesty, which is a skill. That's your art journey. Young Robbie, that's the journey that you're on. And your older self will deeply appreciate it, the work that you started and saved in 1989 and before, but thank you for that. And I don't know if I should add, because it's somewhat paradoxical, to realize that the achievement is self esteem, that how you esteem, value yourself. So you can push out worries about, can I make work that's valuable? That's not the journey that you're on, because you see that as a trap, and the journey that you're on is more freeing. It's not going to be easy, but you're going to grow in ways that feel very good. And the paradox part is there are a few people who will see and appreciate it, but not too many, and not for you to fixate on. But by having the courage to express yourself specifically about the self, existential questions, uh, you will make connections with people, and they're the kinds of connections that are more meaningful to you than anonymous fame or awkward praise from, that you don't understand. I mean, there is, talking to my old therapist. Okay, I can get the nervous tick part, that like I was waiting to say all of that emotional stuff and then immediately. But also, all the time that I was saying that emotional stuff, I was like, I need to clear my throat, but I got to get to the end of my, my deep cut. Mm, mm. I'm like, why is it hot in here? Because I didn't want the fumes from an hour and a half ago to get. No, it was an hour, and just don't worry about it. It was an hour and a half ago. I tease myself. I try not to ever really be mad at myself. That whole thing about don't worry about it is like I'm having a conversation, I don't have to be precise, to bring everything to a halt, but also I get something out of it when I can verify, is my sense of time accurate? So, you know, maybe it was more like an hour and 35 minutes ago. Cut to the chase. From an interview by Anna Della Subin with licensed guide Ahmed Mohammed, conducted while on a tour of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. The interview was published in Bidoun number 25, a special issue on the revolution in Egypt. Looters broke into the museum in January, damaging some items and stealing others. So the interviewer is identified as Bidoun, the magazine. Ahmed Mohammed. You see this statue? Man or woman? Bidoun. Man? Mohammed. A man with breasts? Bidoun. So it's a woman. Mohammed. A woman with a beard? Bidoun. I have no idea. Transgender? Mohammed. It's Hatshepsut. 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 Better to say hot chicken soup. So complex. What is this? Is this interview in English? Wasn't it translated? Hot chicken soup. It's Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut. Better to say hot chicken soup. So complex. She's the only queen that ruled the country. She married her half brother. Her husband took another woman, so she poisoned everybody in the food. She presented herself as Pharaoh, dressed as a man. She wanted to say there's no difference between man and woman. In my opinion, she was a very successful leader, but she lost herself as a woman. Badoon. It seems like there are quite a few visitors to the museum today. Mohammed. No, the museum is really empty because the Russians haven't started coming back yet, and 75% of all tourists to Egypt are Russian. Nobody knows why. Here, I will show you the organs. This is Tutankhamun's heart. Badoon. How do they know it's his? Mohammed. It says in the hieroglyphics, this is his underwear. It is like Pampers. This for after he takes shower. Badoon. That's a towel. Mohammed. You know where we have more Tutankhamun stuff? The basement, in storage. I've been working here 9 years. I've never been in the basement. Badoon. Really? I heard there are police interrogation chambers in the basement. Mohammed. No, those are next door. But 4 days after the revolution, they found one tourist walking around down there. I heard this from security police. I don't know if it is right to tell you this kind of information. Tourists are going to think Egypt is not safe. By the way, this is from November 2011, Harper's Magazine. And it was excerpted, as Ori already said, from from earlier in the year on another magazine called Bidoun, Bidoun. Uh, Tourists, I don't want them to think Egypt is unsafe. Anyway, when Tutankhamun was alive, he slept in this bed. Very uncomfortable, very narrow. You know, when I was working here with a Russian tour group, when I told this woman that this is Tutankhamun's bed, she asked me a very strange question. Where is his wife? I have nothing to tell her. I wanted to make a joke. I tell her, maybe under the bed? She told me, no, no, not like that. I mean, the bed is so narrow, they must have only done 67. I asked her, what? She said, 67, they do it all over the world, especially in Russia. I say, how old am I? I'm 30 years old. I don't understand what this means, 67. For 30 minutes, she explains it to me. I've been married for 9 years. I've never done 67. No joking. And here's his toilet, made of papyrus. All the tourists love it, especially from Russia. Oh, this guy's such a character. This tour guide. Ahmed Mohammed. I mean, that seems like a really common name. Badoon. Are you going to show me where the stuff was stolen during the revolution? Mohammed. Just be patient. Did you hear before about the curse? Pharaoh's curse. It means if anybody gets inside the grave, he will die or something strange will happen to him. It started with the king who built the second pyramid. 100 years ago, his mummy was on a ship on its way to England, and the ship sank inside the sea. Sank inside the sea. It sank in the air. But it's strange, they never found the ship. Hmm. Badoon, has Pharaoh's curse struck recently? Mohammed, you know the great ship of Titanic? How do you think it sank inside the sea? Badoon, it crashed into an iceberg. Mohammed, do you know that one of the priestess mummies was on the ship? Badoon, there was a mummy on the Titanic? Mohammed, that's why it sank. You know the captain, Smith? He saw it and had a nervous breakdown. After 1 hour, the iceberg crashed. The ship sank. I wonder how much of this is true. It would not surprise me if there was a mummy on the Titanic. It was all about luxury and, having parts of it be a museum would have been, or maybe they were transporting it to a museum in New York. I mean, either way, I could see that being possible. But the rest of it, I don't know. I mean, that could be verified, but it would be difficult to verify that the captain had a nervous breakdown after seeing the mummy. Badoon, what about lately? Have bad things been happening? Mohammed, if you want to hear my point of view, I think we have Pharaoh's curse. During the revolution, there were people who succeeded to steal stuff from the Egyptian museum. They wanted to sell this stuff, so they decided to make a website. It said, quote, we have all this stuff. If you want to buy it, we want 5 million pounds, end quote. Very cheap. I think they had 8 or 9 pieces, all of them 5 million each. So then the police pretended they wanted to buy them. I mean, duh. And they caught them in Old Cairo. A lot of the stuff is still missing. You see this display case, gosh, it's making me think of the Louvre break-in and the crown jewels or whatever they stole. I think it was like Napoleon's Queen's jewels. Who would that be, Josephine or a different Napoleon? I think they would just say Josephine if it was Josephine. So maybe it was Napoleon the Third's, someone I don't know. Where was I? You see this display case filled with Egyptian soldiers? That statement is weird in itself. A thief fell from the roof on top of it and crashed through the glass. He broke his back. That was the Pharaoh's curse. In less than 10 minutes, the army arrived. Badoon. So the thief is in prison now? Muhammad. Of course he's in prison. Badoon. I don't know. He could have been beaten to death or something. Muhammad. The revolution at first was a peaceful one, but it wasn't a revolution. You know why? Because it started on Facebook. It was just some young people organizing an objection. I was at home during the protests. I didn't go. Badoon. So, was there anything stolen from this room? Mohammed. No, no. Well, little stuff, less important stuff. I'd like to be honest with you. They stole some of Tutankhamun's stuff, but very little. Two statues, some sarcophagus. Badun. I heard some antiquities were later found in the metro, in a bag. Mohammed. During the revolution? This is the first time I hear this. You want to know all the secrets? Like Sphinx. Have you seen his nose? Broken. No, okay. If I were if I were doing an audiobook, I'd say, can we retake that one? Badun. I heard some antiquities were later found in the metro, in a bag. Mohammed. During the revolution? This is the first time I hear this. You want to know all the secrets, like Sphinx. Have you seen his nose? Broken. Curiosity killed the cat, and a desire to know all the secrets got the Sphinx nose noseless. I enjoyed my time streaming today. I'm going to go make tea and watch the Majority Report stream at noon. I watch it on Instagram, but it's also on Twitch, and last night people were giving away free Twitch subscriptions that maybe are still up for grabs if you'd like that. Um, Also, you can get it audio only, blah, blah, blah. If you go to what? What? Anyway, to see all your available choices, if you want to join me in listening to the Majority Report, you can go to majorityreportradio.com. What am I doing? Who am I talking to? uh, Me. Maybe I'll remember the URL. Bye. Have a good one. I've still got a few minutes. I can't handle silence, as we've discussed. I'm going to go in here and make some tea. I bought all these fucking cookies because they're on buy one, get one, and I wanted to try different flavors. And I have to live through, I mean, I ate way too many yesterday. I've been eating so much sugar, I've got, one of those sores on my tongue. Like, I need to not eat any cookies today. Uh, it's hard. Once I hang out with you, um, I'll move into drinking tea, but eventually I'm gonna have to do something with my mouth because it is uncomfortable. So I drink something like all day. Iced tea, hot tea, tea. Gross. Gross. I need to stop. I wonder if those, you know, fools on TV who never stop talking, uh, maybe they have mouth discomfort and so they talk. I maybe I said the stuff about the tea because tea with cookies would be nice, but I mean about the cookies because cookies with tea would be nice, but no, no. It's a warm day. I learned I don't even know if I have tea bags. Oh, oh, I don't have a preferred tea bag, but I'm bound to have a decaf tea bag of some lavender mint, chai. Hmm. Live and learn and get loves.